Good evening, my non-existent viewers, and oh my goodness, tonight after I watched Friday the 13th, I had to take like a little soup break before I filmed this video, right? And while I watched that video, while I was eating my soup, I was watching the Total Drama Island episode where like Gwen wins the challenge against the psycho killer with the chainsaw and a hook. That iconic Total Drama Island episode that's, very inspired from horror movies. Man, I've been very uncultured, like, with my horror classics is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this whole 31 Days of Horror challenge. But tonight, I finally watched Friday the 13th, and I was like, oh my goodness. The number of, like, Friday the 13th references in that Total Drama Island episode really went over my head as a kid, because that was my first night watching Friday the 13th. But anyways, yeah, this is a part 13 of my 31 Days of Horror challenge. Like, Friday the 13th and Spooktober. You gotta give some love to my man Jason Vorhees. And I think it was really interesting how like Jason Voorhees is mentioned a lot in the film, but he's not the hockey mask wearing like machete killer just yet. I'm assuming we're gonna get a lot more of that in the sequels. Which, I mean, I don't want. I'm like trying to like refrain from too many sequels for this 31 Days of Horror challenge. If you guys, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I love the soundtrack to this movie. I love how this film, like, you watch old school, like, 70s and 80s horror flicks like this, and you're like, oh, that's where that cliche came from. Because there's, like, scenes where, like, the camp counselors, when their kids aren't looking, are, like, having sex, and, the whole, like, the cliche where it's like, hey, sex and nudity in horror movies leads to death, or, like, inept authorities, like, the police can't do anything. There's just so many, like, horror movie cliches, like, oh, why hasn't the villain died yet? Like, we kind of have this, like, I know it's kind of groan-inducing when we see cliches in movies, but you go back to the OG films that popularize them, it's like, huh, this hits a little different. With Friday the 13th, I can totally understand why that this and, like, Nightmare on Elm Street have been hailed as such classics over the years, because I'm going for a 7 out of 9 stars for Friday the 13th. It is a really likable film. Okay, so to those of you Friday the 13th fans who are watching this video right now, I have to ask, out of all the like Friday the 13th films, is the original the best one in the entire franchise, or is there a sequel that you think is better? Like, let me know in the comments down below, or let me know what your worst Friday the 13th movie is too. That works as well. Subscribe to my channel, please. Also, special thanks to my boy Daily Reacts TV for inviting me to be a guest on his live stream earlier today. That was awesome. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. Stay beastly.